Hey everyone, it's Larson in the lab coming at you one more time this school year. This is our final module and our final big lab that we are going to have. And for this one, you could do a lot of different things with acid and base labs, but for this, I wanted to really bring it home, bring it to the real world. So I have decided to simulate a stomach and stomach acid and some of our different antacid brands that might help you if you are experiencing heartburn. So what we have here is we have about 1,000 milliliters or 1 liter of vinegar. Vinegar, guys, is an acid, and it kind of is simulating your stomach acid at this case. And it's here, right here in this large beaker, which is sitting on a special hot plate that also has a stirring function. And this kind of simulates how your stomach is moving and stirring within you. So kind of churning. I am going to show you a couple different things. I'm going to show you pH, and then initially, if you're looking at this stomach acid or vinegar, you can use a test strip here, and you can find that there is a pH of about 3. So what I'm using here, let me come up and show you, is these are some pH test strips we have here at school, and when you dip in the strip, you can compare it to the side of the indicator bottle, and you can see this actually is about a pH of 3. So stomach acid, about a pH of 3, vinegar, about a pH of 3. Okay, so initially pretty acidic, and if you were to have heartburn, that means that acid is touching the bottom of your esophagus, and it feels pretty unpleasant. So what could help get rid of that acid effect? Well, we know from our module that base could neutralize the acid, but let's kind of take measurement here. So I'm going to measure visually in the beaker to see changes in the pH using an indicator solution called bromothymol blue. Now, bromothymol blue has an endpoint that is somewhere between 6 and 7.6. So once your stomach acid would be treated with an antacid and become more neutral, hopefully we will see a change in the bromothymol blue color. So I'm going to go ahead and add bromothymol blue, and you can see it's a pretty yellow color here when we're working with bromothymol blue, and it's very acidic. So we're seeing acid here. That is why it looks yellow. And what I've decided to do, we're going to test 3 different antacids. So we're going to have 3 different videos here, but the first one is antacid tablets. These are made of calcium carbonate. That's the active ingredient that's supposed to be serving as an antacid. And we're going to see what do these do to help with the acidity of our stomach. Now, this is about 1,000 milliliters. Your stomach can stretch all the way up to anywhere between 2 and 4 liters when you've eaten a lot of food. We're going to do 1,000 milliliters or 1 liter just to kind of show like you kind of had a regular sized meal, maybe a small-ish meal. But we're going to treat using this recommended dose of antacids. And the recommended dose here is for adults and children 12 years of age and over, chew 2 to 4 tablets completely as symptoms occur. What I did is I used a mortar and pestle to crush the tablets so that they could go into our stomach better. And that replicates how your mouth would have chewed up the tablets. And so we have these tablets crushed up in our mortar and pestle. And what had happened is we're going to add this. This is 3 tablets. So this is kind of like the mid-range dose. And let's see what happens after we add this. It's kind of interesting. It's mostly resting on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a scupula, and I'm going to use that to stir. I would get a glass stirring rod usually, but there's not one right next to me. And just for the sake of the video, let's use the scupula. So let's mix this chewable antacid in. imagining that you had, your stomach was about 1,000 milliliters. Let's mix this in. I'm going to increase the rate of spinning and stirring here in our beaker and see if we can get this antacid to really mix, give the stomach a chance to kind of digest and see what happens. I think it's going to be easier to show when we use our liquid antacids, but we are going to see. So we're starting to see this mix together more and more. You can probably tell in the video that it is mixing. I'm going to go ahead and get the pH. I want to see what has happened, what has transpired here. I'm going to mix in a little bit more. Okay, I'll come show you. When I'm testing the pH here, we have gotten a little bit less acidic. So we were at a pH of about 3, which is very acidic. And we are now at a pH of about 5, if you're matching up on here. So pH about 5. You know what? I only put 3 antacid tablets. Let's go ahead and go up to 4 and see what would happen if we add our 4th antacid tablet. I'm going to crunch it up with the mortar and pestle, just like if you were chewing, you would have this crushed up. And I'm going to then put it into your stomach, basically chew it up and swallow it. All right, so still no change of color with our indicator solution. That's kind of interesting. But let's do a pH test and see what we have now that we've used one more antacid tablet. So at this time, kind of seeing a pH in the 5 to 6 range. But what we really want to see is we want to see this go neutral because we want to neutralize the effect of the acid on your stomach. So let's imagine you have, taken these antacid tablets and you decide, you know what, I'm going to take some more. Let's see what happens. So if let's say you had 2 more antacid tablets, a total of 6, which is against the recommended dosage, but let's just see what would happen. So let's say, a couple hours later, you're still having heartburn. You decide to take 2 more antacid tablets to try to treat your upset stomach because of that stomach acid burning. And you chew it up and you swallow. All right, so now at this point, we've had 6 antacid tablets, kind of double what I would have taken if I was taking them. And still got a pH of about 6, but overall that's getting back to neutral and probably a lot more comfortable for your upset stomach than the pH of 3 that was your stomach acid. Thanks so much for listening.